Hello there and welcome to another edition of Rebels Unveiled. This time we're going to have a look at Extreme 2 European Championship. I hope you enjoy. This is the final appearance of Razor in the classic era. This is also the last appearance of Philippa Forrester as the pit reporter. And this is also the final appearance of the Disc of Doom. This episode was originally intended to have 12 competitors. This was the fifth and final time Razor and Tornado fought, the rivalry standing at 2-2. Despite Razor being given the win, both Simon Scott and Vincent Blood elected to concede the match to Tornado, as they felt the decision was wrong. This was also the second and final time that a judge's decision was overturned. The battle board showed the Dutch pulverizer with an Irish flag behind it. The final was a grudge match from the second World Championship where Tornado defeated the first incarnation of Philippa on a judge's decision. Team Tornado chose to use the same weapon as they did the first time round. Razor, Tornado and Pulverizer all defeated a Clusterbolt and Walker. All three appeared in this episode. This was the only appearance of Razor's anti-frame hook. This episode and the decision to forfeit Razor's win caused mighty controversy behind the scenes, causing a massive split in Razor's team, as Vinny Blood and Ian Lewis had a massive falling out, with the latter refusing to give Tornado the win, believing that Vinny shouldn't have a say because he didn't build Razor. Though Ian Lewis did apologise, the damage was done, and Vinny Blood quit the team afterward, which is the reason why Razor did not appear in Series 7. As Zeus was driving into the arena, it could be seen pushing one of ICU's removable eyeballs. Zeus was originally going to appear in the Third World Championship, but withdrew. In the English dub of the European Championship, Snakebite's name was erroneously spelt as Snakebite, B-Y-T-E. Philippa is the only robot to have appeared in all four national versions of Rebels. The Popeye family is the only team to have fought robots from 8 different countries: Republic of Ireland, Australia, the Netherlands, England, South Africa, the USA, Sweden and Germany. During its European Championship run, Philippa 2 sported the logo of the Dutch series broadcaster BNN. And that is it for today. The European Championship is not my favourite episode in the world. I'll be honest, this is kind of a mediocre episode, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, Extreme 2 had a lot of mediocre episodes, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, it had some great ideas and competitions, and I think this is another example of a very good idea, very good competition, but the execution just isn't there. Obviously, the big controversy surrounding this particular episode is probably what makes it more famous than any of the other parts to it. Let's be honest, people aren't going to remember this episode for the battles, or maybe some of the robots here and there, like Zeus obviously is very remembered thanks to mainly Robot Arena, because for some reason Robot Arena 2, the Zeus replica is always really good. But I digress. You have obviously the Razor Tornado fight. And of course, Razor fighting Pulverizer is pretty fun as well, but people aren't going to remember this episode for the fights or the robots necessarily. They're going to remember it for the controversy. The Razor versus Tornado fight, which, has gone down as one of the most controversial fights, continuing the trend of, heavily controversial Tornado and Razor fights. This one in particular obviously resulted in the big split up of Team Razor and resulted in Razor then not appearing in Series 7. So really, this episode has a lot of, how do I put it? It's probably one of the more important episodes of Road Wars, but as an episode, it's not the best. It's kind of mediocre. It's quite forgettable, except for the parts behind the scenes, the actual history of Road Wars. This one is very important as a result, through no fault of its own, really, but, it's... aside from that, it's not the most memorable episode. I'll be honest, there's not really much that I can say about it that isn't going to be talking about the behind-the-scenes shit that happened. So, this one I don't really recommend, but at the same time, if you want some context behind some of the stuff that was happening behind the scenes, especially with Team Razor, this is quite an important one in that respect. Let's have a look at what we get on the randomizer this time around. So we finally get our first US Robot Wars episode to look at. A very random one, in fact. Extreme Warriors Series 2 Heat F. I must admit, I'm going to have to rewatch this episode in order to really get a gauge of the feel, so to speak, or to, understand it a bit better. But until then, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.